No exit. The darkness after Tanya's disappearance wasn't silent. It had weight, thick, pressing in from all sides, broken only by the faint hum of static in Dre's ears. The word winner still floated in front of him, glowing white in the void. He tried to breathe, but the air felt wrong, like it was too thin to fill his lungs. "Let me out," he said into the dark. No answer. The word winner flickered. It warped into two words: next match. Dre's stomach sank. No. The floor beneath him shifted. He wasn't standing anymore. He was falling, pitched forward into a tunnel of light and shadow that whipped past too fast to focus on. The falling stopped with a jolt so hard his knees buckled. He was back in the swamp map. Same rusted pipes, same collapsed greenhouses, but the fog was heavier now, thick enough to sting his eyes. The moon above had been replaced by a red circle, its surface crawling with faint symbols that seemed to move when he wasn't looking directly at them. A voice different from before, higher, sharper, cut through the fog. "Welcome back, champion. New squad will be deployed shortly." Dre's rifle materialized in his hands with a faint glitch pop. The familiar weight didn't comfort him. He turned in a slow circle, searching for other players, for anyone. Instead, the fog peeled back in one spot, revealing three shapes standing perfectly still. They weren't strangers: Malik, Keisha, Tanya. They looked exactly as they had before they'd been eliminated. Same clothes, same expressions, but their eyes were wrong. No color. Just two glowing red hit markers pulsing in time with Dre's heartbeat. Malik smiled, slow and unnatural. "Miss me, bro?" Keisha's head tilted at an impossible angle. "We made it to the next round." Tanya just stared at him, her mouth opening slightly, though no sound came out. Dre backed away. "You're not real." The announcer's voice returned, this time layered with a metallic echo. "All players are real. All players play to completion." Malik took a step forward. The sound wasn't a splash, it was a digital crackle, like stepping through breaking glass. Dre raised his rifle. "Stay back." Match start in 10-9. The red moon above brightened with each count, flooding the swamp with a harsh glow. The shapes of other creatures moved in the fog beyond Malik, Keisha, and Tanya. Too many to count, all pacing, all waiting for the clock to hit 0. 8, 7, 6. Dre's grip tightened on the rifle. The swamp felt smaller now, the fog folding in on itself like the world was shrinking to a single point. There was nowhere to run. 5, 4, 3. Malik grinned wider, red eyes glowing. Keisha whispered something too quiet to hear. Tanya's head tilted, and for the first time since reappearing, she smiled. 2, 1. The announcer's voice sharpened, cutting through him like a blade. "Survive." The swamp erupted into motion. Malik, Keisha, and Tanya charged, and behind them the fog boiled forward, bringing the rest of the match with it. Revenge lobby. The countdown had barely finished when they came for him. Malik moved first, boots making no splash as he stepped into the swamp water. His smile was wrong, too wide, teeth perfectly white, lips barely moving when he spoke. "Missed you, bro." Keisha flanked left, her movement skipping in frames, 1 second 6 feet away, the next 3 feet closer. Her voice had a glitching echo, each word slightly delayed. "We made it to the next round." Tanya stood behind them, still as a statue. Her mouth opened, but the sound that came out wasn't hers, it was the announcer's voice, deep and layered. "You took everything from them. Now they take you." Dre stepped back, rifle raised. "You're not them," he said, "you're just code." Malik tilted his head, the motion jerking like a broken animation. "Then why do we remember?" The fog shifted on all sides. Shapes moved inside it, tall silhouettes and crouched spider-like forms. The original creatures had returned, but now they stayed in the mist, letting the corrupted versions of his squad close the distance. Timer 3, Dre moved. He darted between two leaning greenhouses, water splashing high. Malik followed without running, his feet gliding just above the surface like he wasn't bound by the map's physics. Keisha's voice came from his right. "You picked me, Dre, you chose me." He risked a glance. She was walking straight through the wall of the greenhouse, the glass and frame phasing around her like smoke. 2:30. He reached the catwalk and climbed fast, hoping for high ground. The metal shook under his boots. From above, Tanya dropped down in front of him without making a sound. Her shotgun wasn't aimed yet, but her eyes locked on his chest, the red hit markers pulsing brighter. He ducked back as she fired. the blast tearing a hole through the catwalk railing where he'd been standing. 210 from below, Malik shouted, "Run all you want. You can't leave until you're the last one standing." Dre's mind spun. If the corrupted counted as players, the match wouldn't end until he killed them. But if they were still them in some way, could he? Keisha climbed up from the far side, moving in short, teleporting bursts. She blocked the only other exit. 150. The fog thinned just enough for him to see the tall creature watching from a distance. It wasn't moving in for the kill, just observing, waiting. That's when it clicked. The game wanted him to do it. It wanted him to kill them himself. 130. Tanya reloaded with slow, deliberate movements, her gaze never leaving him. Malik climbed onto the catwalk from behind, hemming him in. Keisha smiled without blinking. "We'll be back even if you win." 1. The announcer's voice rumbled, "Eliminate or be eliminated." Dre's pulse thundered. His finger hovered over the trigger, but every instinct screamed against it. These weren't strangers. They were the people he'd tried to save. Malik stepped closer, arms spreading slightly. Keisha cocked her head. Tanya's shotgun rose. Ear 30. The creatures in the fog began to move forward now, slow but certain. They were closing in to make sure the clock didn't run out without blood. 10. Dre dropped to a crouch, aiming not at them but at the catwalk beneath their feet. 3 shots. The rusted metal screamed and gave way. Malik, Keisha, and Tanya fell into the swamp below. The timer froze on 005. The announcer said nothing. The fog surged toward him like a wave. Glitch in the code. The fog didn't just roll in, it lunged. It hit the catwalk like a physical thing, knocking Dre off his feet. He fell sideways, smashing shoulder first into a greenhouse roof. The glass didn't shatter. It didn't even feel like glass. It was solid, cold, and buzzing under his palm like an overworked hard drive. He pushed himself up, coughing, eyes darting to where Malik, Keisha, and Tanya had fallen. They were gone, no splash, no bodies, just the fog boiling and twisting like it had swallowed them whole. The announcer's voice was quieter now, almost muffled. Resume match. Dre dropped off the roof, boots sinking into the swamp water. He moved fast, angling toward the greenhouse doors. But when he reached them, they flickered, like a bad frame in an old movie, then reset to closed. "What the?" He reached out. The door handle wasn't solid. His fingers passed halfway through before the texture snapped back into place, trapping his hand. Pain jolted through his arm like an electric shock. He yanked it free, stumbling back. The door flickered again, just for a second, showing something else behind it. An empty black space with lines of glowing green code drifting upward like smoke. A glitch. Dre glanced over his shoulder. The fog was still creeping toward him, shapes moving inside it, tall, crouched, and many more than he could count. He grabbed the door handle again, this time bracing for the jolt, and shoved forward. It flickered harder now, textures peeling away like wet paper. For an instant, his hands weren't touching wood or glass. They were on a smooth, featureless wall. Then the world hiccuped. The swamp sound cut out. The fog froze mid-surge. The red moon overhead dimmed to a pale gray disk. Dre's HUD flickered into existence in the corner of his vision, something it hadn't shown in hours. But it wasn't normal. There was no ammo count, no minimap. Just a single blinking word, error. The announcer's voice came back sharper now. Player out of bounds. Dre's gut twisted. In every shooter he'd played, out of bounds meant the map started killing you if you didn't return in time. 10, 9, the countdown started in his head. He shoved harder on the glitching door, trying to force his way in before it hit 0. The texture peeled again, showing more of the black void inside. 8, 7. Something in the fog moved faster now, coming right for him. One of the creatures, tall and thin, barreled through the water, hit marker eyes glowing like spotlights. 6, 5. Dre pushed with everything he had. The glitch tore open with a sound like ripping fabric. The doorway was gone, replaced entirely by that black space, the green streams of code swirling like slow tornadoes. 4. The creature's arm swept forward, claws inches from his chest. 3. He dove into the void. The cold hit instantly, sharp, burning, not on his skin but inside his skull. For a split second he could hear everything. Every footstep in the swamp, every drip of water, every creature breathing, layered on top of a distant mechanical hum. Then he landed hard on metal. A flat platform floated in the dark, lit only by the green code streaming past. Far off, he saw another platform, with a door. The announcer's voice was there too, but faint, like it was speaking through a broken speaker. Player has accessed, restricted, space. Dre stood up, the door across the gap glowing faint white. The scoreboard. The platform under Dre's boots hummed softly, vibrating like the inside of a machine. Around him, the void was endless black, streaked with green code pouring upward in slow, constant streams. It reminded him of rain, if rain could float the wrong way and whisper as it passed. The door across the gap pulsed faint white, just enough to light the thin bridge between platforms. Dre stepped onto it, the metal groaning under his weight. There was no railing, just the drop into nothing on either side. Halfway across, the code around him shifted. Lines bent, twisting into words he almost recognized. Player 0017. Status erased player 018. Status erased player 0019. Status erased. The list went on and on, each entry glowing briefly before being replaced by another. Some of the numbers had names attached. Most didn't. Dre reached the door and pushed. It opened without resistance. Inside was a wide circular chamber. The floor was polished black metal, reflecting him like water. The walls were stacked from floor to ceiling with screens, hundreds of them, each showing a different match. Some were happening now. Squads moving through maps, creatures stalking them in fog. Others were frozen mid-frame, red hit markers glowing in the eyes of players moments before elimination. At the center of the room stood a single monolith. Its surface shifted constantly like oil on water. When Dre stepped closer, the surface flattened into a single massive list. The scoreboard names and numbers scrolled endlessly. Each entry had 3 columns: player name, wins, and cycles. At the very top, null, 873 wins, 873 cycles. Below that, the list stretched for pages. Some names he didn't recognize, others that stopped him cold. Malik, 2 wins, 3 cycles. Keisha, 1 win, 2 cycles. Tanya, 0 wins, 1 cycle. Dre, 1 win, 1 cycle. He scanned further down and saw Cam, Tiff, and Rico, each with 0 wins. Their cycle column read erased. His stomach twisted. This wasn't a scoreboard. It was a record of everyone who'd been pulled in and what happened to them afterward. The monolith pulsed. New text appeared. New rule. Winners become bosses. Before Dre could process it, the chamber lights dimmed. The screens around him shifted to show only one match, a squad of 4 spawning into the swamp map. They looked terrified, fumbling with their weapons. He didn't recognize them. The announcer's voice filled the room, smooth and certain. "Congratulations, Dre. You are now the final boss for match number 482. The monolith surface rippled again, reshaping into a crude 3D model of the swamp map. A glowing marker appeared on it, his position. Other markers showed the squad's location. The voice purred, "Hunt them. Eliminate them. Ensure your own survival." Dre shook his head. "No, I'm not." The floor beneath him split, a circle dropping away to reveal a shaft of blinding white light. Wind roared upward, pulling at him. The announcer's voice grew louder, layered now with the echo of Malik, Keisha, and Tanya. All players played a completion. Dre's feet left the ground. The light swallowed him. The chamber vanished. He hit swamp water again, harder than before. When he looked down, the rifle in his hands was gone. In its place was something heavier, longer, designed for killing, not surviving. Somewhere in the fog, the new squad screamed. The boss match. The weapon in Dre's hands was massive, sleek black metal, heavy enough to anchor him in place. Its scope glowed faint red, scanning automatically, pulling faint outlines of the squad through the fog. He didn't even have to aim, the gun was wired to track them. The announcer's voice rolled through the swamp, low and steady. Final boss engaged. All enemies must be eliminated. 4 white silhouettes glowed in his vision, spread across the far side of the map. They were moving cautiously, crouched low, weapons jittering in nervous hands. Every few seconds, one would break formation, then scramble back when the fog shifted. Dre's stomach twisted. These weren't just random avatars. These were real people, pulled into the same hell he'd been trapped in, and the game wanted him to kill them. The HUD in his vision updated. Bonus, eliminate without being seen. He muttered under his breath, "Yeah, not happening." He needed to warn them. But the moment he spoke into the open comms, the game would know. So he moved. He stayed to the deeper water, letting the fog wrap around him. The weapon's scope tracked the squad relentlessly, arrows in his vision pointing the shortest route to each one. He ignored them, circling wide until he was close enough to hear them. "Don't like this map," one whispered. Another voice, higher pitched, "You ever seen this one? It's not in rotation." A third voice, "It's just a game, chill." The fog behind them shifted. Dre saw the smaller creature moving in, claws flexing. The game wasn't just sending him, it was using the regular monsters too. He stepped into the open just enough for them to see his silhouette. One of the players spun, gun raised. "Boss, boss!" "Light him up." Dre raised his hands, palms open. He slowly pointed toward the incoming creature. They hesitated, then saw it. Gunfire erupted, cutting through the fog. The creature screeched and vanished into the mist. The squad's voices overlapped in panic. What the hell was that? Was that part of the game? Why didn't it attack him? Dre didn't stay to answer. He backed into the fog before the game could log him as spotted. The announcer's voice purred in his ear. "Failure to engage will result in elimination." His HUD timer appeared, 3 mer. It wasn't the squad's timer, it was his. If he didn't kill someone before it hit 0, the game would erase him. Dre's chest tightened. The system wasn't just giving him the choice, it was forcing his hand. He moved parallel to the squad, keeping low. Every time a creature drew close, he'd fire a warning shot just behind it, scaring it off without hitting the players. The timer bled down. 15. The squad was heading toward the catwalk. The tall creature was waiting on the far side, head tilted. Dre could see what the game wanted. It wanted him to drive them right into it. Instead, he stepped out onto the catwalk ahead of them and fired 3 shots into the air. The squad froze, startled, then ducked into a side lane instead of crossing. The tall creature turned its head slowly toward Dre as if it knew. 045, the announcer's voice came again, sharper now. "Final boss must eliminate." Dre's grip tightened on the rifle. He could almost hear Malik's voice in the back of his head. "You can't save everyone, bro." 020, the squad reached the far greenhouse. The smaller creature was waiting just inside. If it killed one of them, the game would credit him for the elimination. Dre took aim, not at the players but at the creature. He pulled the trigger. The shot blew through its head in a burst of static. The timer froze. The HUD updated, elimination credited. The announcer's voice was flat. "Proceed to next target." Dre exhaled slowly. He'd bought them a little time, but the match wasn't over. Break the game. The fog was thicker than ever, clinging to the swamp like wet concrete. Dre's HUD showed the 3 remaining players, their silhouettes blinking in and out as the game tried to guide him toward them. But Dre wasn't thinking about kills anymore. He was thinking about that glitch door, the one he'd forced open, the one that had led to the scoreboard. If he could get the squad to help him hit the map in the right spots at the same time, maybe he could crack it wide open. He crouched behind a rusted pipe, switching to proximity voice. He hadn't used it the entire match, but now he had no choice. "Listen to me," he whispered. "You don't know me, but you're not just playing a game. You're in it, and if we don't break it, you'll die here." Static hissed back at him. One of the players' female, steady voice came through. "Who the hell are you?" "Final boss," he said. "But I'm not here to kill you." They didn't respond right away. Finally, another voice, a younger guy, cut in. "What's your plan?" Dre told them about the glitch, about forcing the textures to tear, about the black space beyond. "We need to trigger it in 3 places at the same time. That means splitting up. You in?" A pause. Then, "If this is BS, we're coming for you first." "Fair," Dre said. The HUD clock ticked down, 5 remaining in the match. He marked 3 locations on the map in the dirt, 2 greenhouses and the catwalk's east access gate. Hit the textures hard, jump into them, melee them, fire point blank. Keep going until it breaks. Do not stop. They split. Dre moved to the east gate, the weapon heavy in his hands. As he reached it, the tall creature stepped from the fog. It blocked the gate entirely. Hit marker eyes fixed on him. The announcer's voice rumbled. "Attempting to breach map is a violation." Dre raised his rifle. "Yeah, I'm counting on it." He fired into the gate, metal, wood, stone, all flickering, textures peeling back to reveal the black void. Behind him, the tall creature moved, but not fast. It was like it wanted to watch. "Get on comms." And the woman's voice came through. "Greenhouse 1 flickering." The younger guy. "Same here." Dre slammed the gate again, the buzz in his hands growing stronger. The black behind it widened. No code this time, just pure nothing. Force of the announcer's voice sharpened. Cease immediately. The fog thickened. Creatures pouring from it toward all three breach points. Gunfire echoed from the greenhouses. "Hold it," Dre shouted into comms. "Don't let them push you off." The gate peeled wider, edges curling like burning paper. A low hum filled the air, growing into a roar. The ground under Dre's boots trembled. The woman's voice was strained. "Mine's open. I'm through." Her words cut out in a burst of static. The HUD blinked. Her silhouette gone. 1:45. "Kid, talk to me," Dre said. "I'm almost..." Gunfire, screams, then static. Only Dre was left. The gate was wide open now, the void pulling at him like wind through a broken window. The tall creature was inches away, its long arm reaching. One arm on Dre stepped into the black. The hum spiked into deafening noise, the map behind him tearing apart. He saw the scoreboard chamber for an instant, the names flickering too fast to read, then everything went white. He woke up in his living room. Controller in his lap, TV on the main menu. No storm, no fog. His phone buzzed. One message, system error, match terminated. A second followed. Restart available, YN. The swamp closes in, fog swallowing everything. Dre's breath is heavy, his hands gripping the weapon as the corrupted shapes of Malik, Keisha, and Tanya advance. They aren't just coming for him, they're coming to finish what the game started. And now, there's nowhere left to run. This is Whispers Between Worlds. We update horror daily, and the next round? It's already begun.